Howdy folks, Matt with BAAM Ranch. Thanks for watching. So what I wanted to visit with you guys about today was the summer heat. I'm filming this, it's the morning of 4th of July. Late morning anyway, I'm starting to lose my shade. So if y'all get in the sun, I apologize about that. But you can find all sorts of information on any platform you choose about dealing with the cold, severe storms and blizzards and whatnot. But for some reason we forget about the summertime heat. And says me, I will say that the summer heat and all this heat related stuff that goes on is just as much, if not more dangerous than the cold. In the cold, we can put a jacket on and we can kind of center ourselves in our whole family in one room and put blankets up and insulate and, got little portable propane heaters and all of this stuff that we can do to mitigate the cold and to make the cold more survivable if, systems go down. I mean, hell, even cooking, produces heat for the livable space that you and your family are in. But in the summertime, with the heat and these triple digit temperatures and all of that, and it's a lot more difficult to deal with. And I'm going to make the assumption that if you're of a cognitive ability where you can understand usefulness in even clicking on this video, that I don't really need to go through and give you a whole bunch of tips and tricks on how to stay cool. You already know to turn your fan on. You already know that, a cool towel and staying out of the sun. I mean, most of us are well aware of that. So that's not really what I'm going to go into in this video. Although those are very important, obviously. I think it was flies and mosquitoes. I think it was last Thursday was the last time I saw where there was a group of people that were hiking. I think there was 5 or 6. I didn't read too deep into the story, but they had to have a helicopter rescue and, because of the heat, just heat related injuries. And I'm not sure if it was heat stroke or whatever. Like I said, I didn't read too far into it, but that's a real thing. And those are real lives that are affected. And there's real people that lose their lives due to outdoor activity in triple digit heat. And we hear about those a lot. You can probably give some examples yourself that you've heard. But the thing we don't hear about is the widow that didn't answer the phone for 2 or 3 days, and someone went to go check up on her, and the inside temperature of her house was 92 degrees, and she was deceased and had probably been that way for a day or 2. We don't hear about that. We don't necessarily always hear about the family that was making a routine trip. Where I live, we may drive an hour through the countryside to get to, another town. And we don't hear about the family that had a flat tire and the spare was flat. And by the time they got a hold of somebody to come help them out, that the inside of the car had already heated up to 150 degrees or, we don't hear about that stuff. And those are actual common issues that we need to prepare for and we need to be ready to handle accordingly. And on to the whole prepper sphere type thing. We talk about, all these bug out stuff and make no mistake, if your car breaks down and it's 105 degrees outside, that's an emergency like bug out situation, or it very well could be. And although you may spend plenty of time outside, in the heat, and you've somewhat acclimated to it, has your family? Are you gonna take your wife and kids through a 2-day trip on foot whenever it's over 100 degrees? Probably not. I mean, is that something that they'd be able to handle? So give some thought to that, because there's no less danger in doing something like that as it would be going on some, on foot bug out scenario in the middle of a blizzard. The level of danger is equal, if not worse. So like I said, this isn't really a tips and tricks video, but I want you to put some thought into how are you going to handle, this summertime heat whenever things aren't working. What are your redundancies? If the power shuts off, which is pretty common. I mean, it's relatively common for the power to go out, and make no mistake, that issue will get worse as time goes on. We haven't seen a whole lot of trouble with it this year, but you guys are moving into the sun again. Just a second. But we certainly will see that becoming more and more of an issue. Getting y'all straight. There you go. So do you have a way to power your central heat and air if that goes down? If it does go down and you don't have enough juice to be able to power that, can you at least run some small fans? How about a window unit air conditioner? Just one of the small ones that you pick up at Walmart or wherever. Even if it's just a small one and you can cool one room. What if it's not even something like a power outage or some kind of grid failure, but what if it's a holiday weekend where it's a 3-day weekend and it's already in the triple digit temperatures, and 10 o'clock on Friday night, your air conditioner just quits, goes out, stops working, not blowing cold air anymore. So not only do you have the backlog of all of these customers that are needing to have their air conditioner worked on, so it may be a week before they can get to you, but now it's Friday night on a holiday weekend, so everybody's closed on Monday. You can't even get a hold of them till Tuesday. Making the most common repairs on, central heat and air units is not that difficult. More often than not, it's a contactor issue or a capacitor issue, and I'm not going to go through right now how to diagnose and fix that, but it's a pretty easy process, and it's something you can do in a half an hour. You'd be well served on at least figuring out the basic mechanical workings of that stuff, so that even if it's not a grid down scenario, you can get your air conditioner back up and running. We were in a rent house one time, and it was a Saturday morning. The air conditioner wasn't working. Turns out it was a capacitor. Yes, I could have called the landlord, and they'd 4 or 5 days later had us going. But you know what? I just took the capacitor off, took it down to the parts house, electrical supply house, bought another one, put it back on. The whole disassembly, running down to the store, getting the new part, coming back, installing it, and turning the air conditioner back on was under an hour's time. So having those skills to be able to do that's important as well. Well, anyway, like I said, this morning, I'm not sure when I'm going to release this, but this morning is 4th of July. So I hope y'all's 4th of July was enjoyable, and just remember what those bursting bombs and aerial fireworks actually represent. All right, until next time, guys, y'all be safe.